The next 10 minutes will be about compliance checker. I would like to overview in this short time what is this. So first of all, I want to clarify something that I've several times heard that someone understood this system that it's dealing with hazardous compounds. It's not. It is rather dealing with the misuse of drugs or research compounds falling to narcotics, psychotropics categories. So when you put it into context that this is what we help with, to be compliant with it. So it's not an easy thing to do. There are a lot of rules, guidelines to follow, and you have to do this following or be compliant with all of these things at the same time. And at the end, you have to decide if you can continue the process or not. You have to stop, or you have to add extra information for these cases. So what is the system that helps you do that? In the middle of this whole system is a RESTful web service that is using a knowledge base of rules that can find if the input structure is a match of any legislation. From the upstream, you can call this either from the GUI. I will have a lot of slides and videos how it can be used from that point, but you can integrate this into your system calling from ELN or registration system. I will also show example of that. And we also have pipeline pilot and 9 nodes that can be used for these purposes. And in the downstream, you either want to generate a report and file it or print it, or you get a response from the API that you can parse and use it in your systems. So let's jump on the GUI. So this is a single search. After I log in, I land in the single search page where I can directly type a name or an ID if I have the naming converter service, and it's converted to the structure immediately. If I hit enter, everything that is in the knowledge base is searched, so you get all the results instantly. You can also use var.in.js to draw, and as you can see, now everything was used, but there are predefined countries I can select from, so let's choose a few, and then rerun the search. And now you will see that this compound is only in Japan and UK controlled. You can create check levels where you can select your legislations what you want to check for, and this is UK third generation cannabinoids fine. You can see it was released last year, December. This is a direct link to the origin. This is the link to the original document. You can also see an extract of this. This is, for example, the Marcus structure behind. This was extracted from the rule. And also you can find the important detail of that legislation, which is relevant for this compound. Which is also important. You can on the fly dynamically switch owner of your result field, and if it happens that something went wrong in the past, you can go back and check what was that time the answer of the system. So if I go back to October, you can see that this structure that time was not controlled. So this is an important, very useful feature. You can also generate a report from a single check in different formats. This is a HTML format. Okay. The other usage is if you have file and you want to check your files, then you can upload simply your file, select the same way your countries or categories. You can immediately select which type of reports you want to get at the end. But you can generate a report anytime later because the results are saved. And then even 2 months later, you can come back and choose, I want to generate this report from the result. And it's also important, I don't know if you can see that, this 100,000 structures were done in 1,000 seconds. So this is an important aspect that in a medium type server, we have 100 molecules per second. And it scales up very almost linearly with the CPU, number of CPUs or number of servers. So you can, if it is important to run big sets quickly, then you can easily scale even higher. Let me mention the administration interface. So we know that administration is sometimes difficult to do from the API. Anything you see here can be done from the API. So if you don't need the user interface or you want to develop another one based on that, you can do that. But for example, this one helps you to create your check levels, which is, as I mentioned, just a collection of, in this case, the US, Canada, and the UK legislations. Also, there is a history that helps if there was any claim, any issue that the administrator can come and search, for example, a single check, search for a specific user and see what he did in that period of time, can see the details. Do the same for batch checks. Also, here you can filter and see the details, download the reports directly from the history, and also can check the update history between a certain period, and then see what was the status before and after of that modification. And the last thing which is important, report templates can be simply drag and drop, created from the available fields, and you can also do the order of these fields and then save it. If you set a report to be the default, then that will be used in your single check. In a batch check, you can choose when you want to manually generate that, which template you use. Okay, this was the user interface. Now let's see the API. So it was in the design. It was very important to create an API that is easy to integrate. So in an integration controller, you only have 5 methods. We say it's enough most of the cases. So you can post a single compound or a list of compounds, and you can then get back the answer. In each of these API methods, you can, there is an example, so you can click here, then it copied, you just simply change the text and try out, you see the JSON answer, and you can see what is the result. So that is for a single checks. I think it's most of the cases enough for an ELN integration, for example, or compound registration. But we also have file integration controller if you want to submit files. So you can upload, you can check the status, and you can generate a report directly from the API. So it's, I think, very easy to integrate into any system. And let's show a video. This is IDBS. They 10 days ago released a version which integrated compliance checker. So here is a reaction entered, and immediately all the hits found in this right side column with direct link again. And if you change the compounds, recheck, and it shows that now it's compliant. So, and another example in Chemicalize. A few words about Chemicalize. This is because there's no presentation on this. So you can do calculation, structure search, and a lot of things based on credits you purchased before. So in this case, the compliance can be checked, for example, for this compound. The countries are available here. If I select more countries, then I need more credits. So you can see it count now 4 credits would be used, but I have only 3, so I have to change and then just check it. And in the result, again, you will see the structure. You can magnify if you want to see it in more detail, and there is the direct link, there is the countries that were used. So basically, from compliance checker, integration in Chemicalize is good for those who have only a few number of compounds, not millions, of course, because if there is million structure, it's better to use either a hosted solution or an on-premise installation of the system. And please visit the demo station if you want to, because now I had only 10 minutes, but I can show the system live and answer any questions. Thank you for your attention, and finally the team who worked on the development. Thank you.
You mentioned drugs and so forth. Do you also have transportation restrictions in your list?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a way of getting hazardous material notion in that as well?
There are a lot of other systems for that, laboratory-related hazards. Yes. I don't think we want to compete in that market yet.
And can there be custom rules that someone can build that are orthogonal to like the legal rules, but maybe they are specifically business-related rules that, for whatever reason, someone wants to bake in? Let's say from an IP perspective.
So these proprietary rules can be created, but currently in this new system we don't have interface for the user, so we do this in consultancy. But then when you have this proprietary rule set, it's automatically merged to the common rule set. And when you do the update, either semi-automatical or automatical way, it's always merge back your proprietary rule and changes only the other rule set. And probably end of this year, or in half year, we will introduce the interface as well for creating rules.